detailed analysis of the Banyana Banyana's participation at the 2026 Women's Afcon in Morocco. South Africa's Banyana Banyana entered the 2026 Women's Afcon in Morocco with a special status, former African champions, crowned in 2022, and one of the leading contenders for the title. However, their journey came to an end in the quarterfinals against Morocco, following a tournament marked by inconsistent performances. 1. The different matches. Tanzania 2, South Africa 1. The tournament began with a huge surprise. The Banyana Banyana lost their opening match against Tanzania after conceding a decisive goal late in the game. This defeat was one of the major warning signs of their campaign. Analysis. South Africa lacked control in the decisive moments. A team of its level cannot afford so much uncertainty in the management of an opening match. South Africa versus Côte d'Ivoire. After this poor start, the match against Côte d'Ivoire became crucial. The South Africans had to react immediately to remain in contention in Group B. The pressure was high as Côte d'Ivoire came into the match following a spectacular victory over Burkina Faso. South Africa versus Burkina Faso. The final group match represented another important step in the team's attempt to recover after the poor start against Tanzania. The main lesson from the group stage was clear. The Banyana Banyana were forced to play under pressure very early in the tournament, instead of progressing with the usual confidence of a major favorite. 2. The quarterfinal. Morocco 2, South Africa 1. The quarterfinal against Morocco was a major clash, a rematch of the 2022 Women's Afcon final, which South Africa won against the host nation. This time, however, the context was completely different. Morocco was playing at home and got its revenge by eliminating the Banyana Banyana. This defeat was the real turning point in South Africa's overall campaign. South Africa had the experience, technical quality, and familiarity with major occasions. However, the team failed to reproduce the control and composure that had been its strength during its continental triumph. Consequences. Elimination in the quarterfinals. Failure to reach the final four. No place on the podium. Loss of their champion status. A missed opportunity to secure qualification for a third consecutive Women's World Cup, as reaching the semifinals offered a direct route to the 2027 World Cup. 3. Trophies and overall record. No trophy in 2026. The Banyana Banyana won neither gold, silver, nor bronze. For a team that had already won the Women's Afcon in 2022, the outcome was therefore below expectations. However, South Africa remains a historical reference in African women's football. Its 2022 title allowed it to join the very exclusive group of African champions. In 2026, alongside Nigeria, it was one of the former major powers eliminated before the semifinals, symbolizing a competition that had become much more open. 4. Strengths and achievements to preserve. The footballing culture. South Africa has a clear identity: technical football, ball circulation, mobility, and the pursuit of collective control. This is a fundamental asset.
A fundamental asset. The Banyana Banyana must not abandon this philosophy after a disappointing Women's Afcon. International experience. The team has a strong culture of major tournaments. South Africa had already participated in the 2019 and 2023 Women's World Cups and was aiming for a third consecutive appearance on the global stage. This experience remains valuable for rebuilding. The mentality of competitors. The poor start against Tanzania put the South Africans under pressure. A great national team must know how to perform in such circumstances. The ability to respond must remain a central part of the Banyana Banyana's identity. A solid technical foundation. South Africa retains a tradition of organized women's football and has accumulated experience at the highest African and international levels. The work ahead should therefore be an evolution, not a complete reconstruction. 5. Weaknesses to correct. 1. Consistency. This was probably the main problem of this Women's Afcon. A team competing for the title cannot afford to begin the tournament with a defeat against a theoretically less fancied opponent. Tanzania demonstrated that the gap between teams across the continent has narrowed. Areas to improve: better starts to matches, maximum concentration from the opening match day, fewer periods of inconsistency. 2. Efficiency in decisive matches. The quarterfinal against Morocco confirmed an important limitation. Potential alone is not enough in a knockout match. In a short tournament, a team must be able to turn its good moments into goals and make the difference in a tight contest. 3. Managing difficult periods. The Banyana Banyana must better control the periods when their opponents take the upper hand. A great team cannot dominate all the time. However, it must know how to close down spaces, slow down the game, keep possession, disrupt the opponent's rhythm, avoid individual mistakes. 4. Renewing the team. South Africa also has to prepare the next generation. Experience is a strength, but it should not prevent the gradual integration of young players capable of bringing speed, freshness, creativity, a new level of intensity. 6. What South Africa must do now.
Must do now. The priority is to learn the right lessons from this relative setback. Key areas of work. 1. Regain consistency. Perform at a high level from the very first match. 2. Increase attacking efficiency. Creating chances is not enough. The team must score. 3. Improve the management of knockout matches. Quarterfinals and semifinals are often decided by small details. 4. Prepare the next generation. Gradually integrate younger players. 5. Preserve South Africa's technical identity. Collective play remains the Banyana Banyana's greatest strength. 7. Overall assessment. Rating 6.5 out of 10. For a less ambitious team, reaching the quarterfinals could be considered an acceptable result. But for South Africa, a former champion and a contender for the title, it was a disappointment. The positive points: an experienced national team, a footballing identity that remains present, a solid technical foundation, significant international experience. The negative points: a surprise defeat against Tanzania in the opening match, a campaign marked by too much inconsistency, elimination in the quarterfinals, no trophy and no podium finish, difficulty in fully living up to the expectations placed on a former champion. Final verdict: the Banyana Banyana's 2026 Women's Afcon campaign in Morocco was disappointing, but certainly not a catastrophe. Above all, it showed that African women's football has changed. Cameroon won its first title, Malawi reached the final, and the former South African champions were eliminated before the semifinals. The African hierarchy is now much more open. My verdict in one sentence: the Banyana Banyana remain a major force in African women's football, but they must rediscover their consistency and efficiency to become a genuine championship-winning team again. This concludes our analysis of the Banyana Banyana of South Africa at the 2026 Women's Afcon in Morocco. Subscribe, like the video, and turn on the notification bell.